Hi all, this is Cathleen of the Wonderful World of Knitting podcast. Hi! Today I'm going to show you how to set up your sweater to knit 2 sleeves at the same time, how to set it up and how to actually knit 2 sleeves at the same time. So the benefit with knitting 2 sleeves at the same time is simply that you do it all in one. You do not have to go back once you finish one sleeve. You do not have to go back and knit the other sleeve. And also the second benefit I find is that when you knit sleeves, you always have to keep track of your rounds. You have to keep track of where you put your decreases. You have to count how many rounds in order to match the second sleeve. So the benefit here is that you don't have to do that. If you knit them both at the same time, you do not have to keep track of rounds, decreases, etc. So what you're going to need, so as you can see here, I have a sweater, almost finished sweater, but no sleeves. So this is my puff tee. So this is my work in progress. You will need a long circular needle. So I'm knitting this on 4mm needles and I have an extremely long cord. So these are my needles and I have a very long cord and I even connected 2 cords here to make it extra long. So you do need them. So what you're going to do, I have my stitches on scrap yarn, as you can see here. So what I will do, so you're going to position your sweater like this so it's facing both. You can see these are the 2 underarms here and they're both kind of facing to the right. And I'm just going to explain what I will do now and then I will actually show you. You're going to pick up the stitches on this half of the first sleeve and I have my marker here to mark the halfway point. So I'm going to pick up the stitches on this sleeve and I will not pick up the second half. And then at the same time with the same needle, I'm going to pick up the stitches from the scrap yarn from this half of the second sleeve. And it has to be pointing in the same direction as you can see here. So I'm going to take my needle now. I think I'm ready to put the needle into the stitches. And once I've picked up the first half of this first sleeve, I will meet you back. Now, as you can see, I picked up all the stitches on the first half of the first sleeve and I will leave the back stitches from this sleeve for later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this needle out and these stitches are hanging on the cord. And now I'm picking up on the other sleeve, I'm picking up the stitches on the other sleeve here. So this is the first half of the second sleeve where I will pick up the stitches with the same needle. You can pull this needle out, leave the cord hanging, and you're going to pick up these stitches now. Like this. You simply put the needle in because they're all hanging on the scrap yarn. So I will meet you back again. And I'm back now. You can see that I've picked up the first half of the second sleeve. Here is my halfway marker. So I have this long cord and the needle and it looks like this now. So both here are the underarms and here are the 2 sleeves. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pull this needle out or pull this needle through so that the stitches at the moment are only on the cord. Let me show you this a bit better. They are on the cord. And now I'm going to flip my sweater over like this. Set everything up again. So now this time the cord is in the back and these sleeve stitches are at the front. And I'm going to take this needle now and pick up the second half of this sleeve like this. Here is my first stitch. And once again, I will meet you back in a short while. I have picked up the second half of this sleeve now. And I'm going to pull this needle out now. And you can pull on this cord here as well to give you more length. And now you just pull this needle out and pick up the last half now. Pick up the stitches on this side. The second half. That would be the second half of the first sleeve now that I'm picking up. Did I miss any stitches? Let's have a look. No, I did not. And you just put the needle through. So this sweater is the puff tee that I'm working on. I have picked up almost all the stitches on this sleeve as well now. However, I want to show you this. Sometimes you will find that the last stitch is actually hiding and it's really hard to put your needle through. So there's one more stitch here that I need to pick up. So what you're going to do, you have to pull on the working yarn quite hard so that this stitch comes up, and then you poke your needle through the stitch. Yeah, you have to pull on the working yarn, and so it will pull up that last stitch. And so this is the last stitch that I've picked up. Let's push this through. So this is a mess. However, we can totally make sense of that. Right, here we go. Let me show you this. You have a cord hanging out on this side. And if I move this along, you have two needles hanging out on the other side. Now what you will do, you're going to turn your work like that, because your starting position will always be on the right side. The two needles, let me tidy this up for you. The two needles will always be on the right side. This is basically very similar to magic loop. If you've done magic loop before, then you're no stranger to this. Okay, so now I've picked up all my stitches. I have a long cord here, and we can actually now start to knit. First, oh yes, of course. First, what we will have to do is actually pull out this scrap yarn. So what I will do, I will go into my little notions case and get my octopus scissors. Yes, at this point, it is safe to say we can remove this scrap yarn. And I will pull on this end. And this will pull out my working yarn like that. And then a little pull here. And you do the same on this side. This is the working yarn gone. We don't need those markers anymore. Put them to the side. Don't need the scissors. So now what I have to do, I will have to pick up stitches here at the underarm. And my pattern has me pick up six stitches. And at this point, we can actually start to attach the working yarn. So you're going to pull the needle long. And you will start to pick up 6 stitches. And at this point, you will actually attach the working yarn. We need to pick up 6. I think this is a good spot. Grab your working yarn. Now to attach your working yarn to the sleeve, because at this point there was no working yarn, only live stitches. You simply make a loop and you put it over your needle and you pull it through. That's how you attach the yarn and how you pick up a stitch. So this was stitch number 1. I will pick up stitch number 2 now. Stitch number 3. And let's put stitch number 4 in this spot. Picking up stitches is kind of a hit and miss. You just simply have to put your needle through where you think it will look best, and if it doesn't, you simply take it out and try again. We want to avoid holes at the underarm. So now I've picked up 4 and I have to pick up 2 more. And I will do that here. That will look good, I think. And to make it 6, picking up it here as well. So that's 6 stitches. And this will be my beginning of the round. The beginning of the round will always be at the underarm, and I'm going to put my marker here to mark the beginning of the round. Let's use a purple marker. That'll look nice. So that is my beginning of the round. And now we can knit across this first half of the first sleeve. Let me show you. Put the stitches to the tip of the needle. Get your tension. Scoop it all up. And we are knitting, yay! Okay. I will try and do this real quick for you now. I like to just scoop up my stitches to the tip of the needle so they're ready to slide off. almost done. Okay. And so now, as you can see, these stitches are knit. What you will do next is, you will not knit this half now, yeah? Now we move on to the second sleeve and knit the first half on the second sleeve. And that's what you will do from now on when you knit these sleeves. So you're going to pull out the needle, and our little cord is hanging here, so no worries. You pull out the needle. It is basically like magic loop when you knit 2 sleeves at the same time. Oh, I almost forgot. Now we have to pick up 6 stitches, of course, on this side. And you will not use this working yarn of the first sleeve. So I have 2 balls of yarn, and you will keep them separate. I'm going to attach a new ball of yarn. But first we have to pick up the stitches here on the second sleeve. So that will be the same thing as we did before. I will grab the new working yarn for the second sleeve. We're picking up 6 stitches. Now 2 more. I think this looks good, and we've got 6 stitches. We can put a marker and as before, I will knit across this half of the stitches, and I will meet you back in a moment. So I have now knit the stitches here on the second sleeve, and this is how this looks now. So at the moment the needles are pointing to the left because I've knit the first half of both sleeves, and I'm going to turn my work like that, and I've got my 2 balls here. So you will have to keep turning your work and manage your balls of yarn that they don't get tangled. And now I'm going to knit this side. And how you do that? You will have to pull here on the on this cord. And slide your stitches to the tip of the needle. Once we've knitted this side here on these 2 sleeves, then we're done with the first round on 2 sleeves. Then you pull your needle long. The more you pull here, the more cord it will pull out on the other side. And now I'm simply knitting these stitches on this side. And this is basically it. That's what you will keep doing. You will have to, once you've knit once you've knit the 2 halves on the 2 sleeves, then you simply turn your work. So you keep turning your work. I'm going to show you. I think you will get a picture now. I will knit across these sleeve stitches. I will pull this needle long, and then I will knit these sleeve stitches here. I'm going to turn my work and knit on the other half. So I hope this helps. It really is of advantage to knit 2 sleeves at the same time. As I said before, you do not have to keep track of your rounds or decreases. You do it all in one go, and you don't end up on Sleeve Island. So I hope it makes sense and it helps. If you do have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments below. And yeah, good luck with them. Happy knitting, everybody. Bye.